Officials of NCDMB were in Kalabari, River State, as part of an ongoing sensitization campaign across the country to enlighten host communities about the Community Content Guideline policies of the Nigerian Oil and Gas Content Development Act. Take a look.
The Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, NCDMB, recently conducted a one-day workshop on the Community Content Guidelines for host communities in Kalabari, River State. The keynote address was presented by the Executive Secretary, NCDMB, Engineer Simbe Kasie-Wabote, who was represented by the General Manager, Corporate Communication and Zonal Coordination, Dr. Gina Otonyogina.
For the first half of the decade that we are exploring and producing oil in this country, the involvement of Nigerians and Nigerian companies were almost zero. We have put it at less than 5%. The country lost more than $300 billion during those first 50 years when only foreign companies were taking charge of the industry. And of course, it also had attendant consequences on the employment of our youths and also the use of our contractors. So in 2010, the President of the Federation signed the Nigerian Oil and Gas Industry Content Development Act into law. And this law mandated that the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board be the agency that will implement this law. So basically, what the law intends to achieve is the involvement of Nigerians in every aspect of the oil and gas industry.
Dr. Gina enlightened the audience on the objectives of the Community Content Guideline policies.
Some of the objectives of the Community Content Guideline, we say structured engagement of youths in host communities in productive endeavors, including employment, training, services, supplies, manufacturing, and contracts. So this is that value chain we just spoke about. We want the community people to be involved in all the aspects of the oil and gas industry. Another objective is to establish critical infrastructure to stimulate development in host communities. That is, it is our aim to establish infrastructure in the host communities so that the communities will develop on the back of these infrastructures. Then, based on that, attract new businesses to strategic locations in the host communities. So we have the leverage to attract businesses to the host communities. And the last objective there is in sustain growth of host community entrepreneurs through funding and policy support. So, which we have been doing. That is, we try to grow host community contractors that have potential, try to grow them, assist them with funding and other policy support.
The supervisor, Nigerian Content Development Fund and Treasury, Utibo Wodu, made a presentation on community contracting finance, one of the 5 products in the Nigerian Content Intervention Fund, NCIF.
The fund is called Nigerian Content Intervention Fund, managed by Bank of Industry. The fund is designed to provide loan for indigenous contractors with valid contracts with IOCs, international oil companies, and NOC in Nigerian oil and gas industry. The maximum amount is 20 million for each participant, 20 million naira. So you can access as much as 20 million naira at just 5% interest rate. You have up to a year moratorium period before you start to pay back. The risk is covered 100% by Bank of Industry, and our fund size is 300 million But you know, we can only access a maximum of 20 million for this product type.
Utibo further enumerated the criteria and requirements of the Community Contractor Financing Scheme.
Only community contractors with contracts with IOCs and NOC can apply for loan finance under Community Contractors Financing Scheme. Only indigenes of oil and gas producing communities or host communities of oil and gas facilities can access loan finance under the Community Contractors Financing Scheme. Please, you cannot come as an individual and say you want to access this fund. Must be a registered company. So your company must be registered, must have gone to CAC, done all the registration, must fulfill all requirements listed in the NCI fund portal on www.boi.ng/NCI fund.
Some participants shared their thoughts.
Today, I appreciate the organizers because we have learned from them more contracts, more jobs, more opportunities for what we have learned for today. So as I'm going back, I also talk to my youths, no more fighting. Whatever we want to complain, we'll complain to the secretary, to the board, as they have taken in written form, so that our complaints will be attended to.
The workshop has brought to be that which we ought to know before now. Before now, we were thinking that this was a sophistry, that such a body exists and could adhere to the plight of the ordinary people from the oil producing area, host community, so to say. But the chairman, the general manager, zonal coordinations has opened our eyes with the laws to enable us to understand that we should no longer fight these oil companies. We should not take arms against them, but we should take our issues to the board, and that the board has the capacity under the laws to ensure that whatever the host communities want, they will get it.
The workshop was highly interactive as participants asked salient questions that were duly answered by officials of the NCDMB. After more than 5 decades of the oil exploration in Nigeria, comes a board that is bringing together industry majors, investors, and the states in the oil and gas corridor of Nigeria, and cementing access to oil fields for higher productivity, to build capacities in Nigeria, to support increased investment in the industry, to build local capacity and competencies, to create linkages to other sectors of the national economy, to boost industry contributions to the growth of our national gross domestic product, increasing Nigerian content in the oil and gas industry. Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, NCDMB, building local capacities in the oil and gas industry.
And that's it from us this week. Thanks for watching. And don't forget, the ideal local content penetration is not a sprint, but a marathon that requires focus and determination to ensure its implementation. COVID-19 is still very much with us, so do not let your guards down. Wash or sanitize your hands regularly. Please wear a face mask and maintain social distancing in public places. Until next week, I am Priya Braka.